Dr. Azar is a rheumatologist at NYU Langone Center. She is also, of course, at NBC News and MSNBC medical contributor. Dr. Natalie, good to see you again. What kind of changes on mask guidance do you think we could hear tomorrow? What's likely?
So, Craig, I think they're just going to really make this common sense. You know, the one thing that concerns me about this is that, you know, the whole thing of how will you know if the people next to you are also vaccinated, or somebody could be unvaccinated but claim that they're vaccinated. So, you know, that gets a little bit into murkier ground. But, you know, I think we're going to hear common sense recommendations. And that is that if you are vaccinated and you're outdoors, even if you're within 6 feet of other folks, you know, you're reasonably protected. If you take their guidance and move it from inside to outside, if you can be with an unvaccinated household in your home, you can certainly be with unvaccinated people outside. So it'll be interesting to see how they actually word it. But again, my you know, concern about this is that, you know, people might just take this as, you know, throw caution to the wind, right, and suddenly we can all be outside without masks. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how they word it, Craig.
This skipping your second dose, this seems odd to me. I mean, 8%, it seems like a lot of folks are not going back for that second dose. Is this as commonplace as apparently some are being led to believe? And what can doctors and officials do to convince folks to show up for the second shot?
You know, I mean, again, I do think if you flip it on its head and you say 92% are coming back for their second dose, I think that's good. And, and I do think that, you know, there's a few different factors here. One is the person factor. They could think that they're sufficiently protected or concerned because they had side effects from the first shot. And then, of course, there's many reports about, you know, a pharmacy not having the same brand as the first one and issues like that. What we need to do as healthcare professionals, and certainly those of us in the media, is to really explain to folks why it's so important to get the second shot. And it really has to do with efficacy, as well as coverage of variants, as well as durability. So you may remember about a month ago, we had information that the Pfizer and Moderna, after one shot, were about 80% protective. And people might think, well, 80% compared to 90%, that's not a lot. Yeah. But the devil is in the details here. Because after that second shot, your number of neutralizing antibodies, you know, those ones that are super important to fight off the virus, they increase by about tenfold. Additionally, you get this really robust T-cell response, which we talk about a lot. That's that other arm of the immune system. Both of those factors lead into this idea that you're more covered against variants, and you're more likely to have a durable response. Remember, 2 shots were what was studied, not 1 shot. So we do need people to get that second shot.
Dr. Natalie, stand by for one moment. I want to ask you about something else here, but then I want to turn overseas for just a moment, because we're learning that fully vaccinated Americans may be allowed to visit Europe this summer. That's according to the president of the European Commission. Ralph Sanchez is standing by in London. He's following this part of the story. Ralph, what more can you tell us about this?
Yeah, Craig, Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, telling the New York Times she wants to see fully vaccinated American tourists back in the European Union as early as this summer. That'd be the first time that Americans have been able to go on vacation in Europe in more than a year. But people shouldn't be rushing out, booking their tickets to Paris, Berlin, Rome just yet, because there's still a lot we don't know about this. We don't know exactly when Americans are going to be allowed back in, and we don't know exactly what you're going to have to do to prove that you've been vaccinated. The Europeans are talking about using these so-called green digital certificates. That would be a kind of digital vaccine passport you'd have on your phone to show you've been vaccinated. Something similar is already being used in Israel. But these certificates haven't even been rolled out in Europe yet, let alone synced up with American vaccination records. So one European Union spokesman saying today, this plan still very much a work in progress. I will say the fact that we are even having this conversation is a sign of how things have changed in the U.S. in the last year. Last summer, the European Union was making clear Americans were not welcome because the U.S. was seen as a global disaster zone in terms of cases, in terms of deaths. This year, it's looking like Americans may be some of the first people welcomed back in Europe because the American vaccination rollout rollout is seen as a real success story. Craig?
Yeah, our vaccination rates in this country, head and shoulders above just about every other country on the planet. Dr. Azar, what say you? This idea, fully vaccinated Americans can travel to Europe again, perhaps over the next 2 or 3 months.
Well, I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for the U.S. population. As was pointed out just now, the issue is really going to be about how to document your vaccination status. That white card that you get when you get your vaccine is not going to be sufficient. So the challenge, of course, is going to be what exactly that is going to look like. The European Union has basically said that the vaccines that are authorized in Europe are the same vaccines that are authorized in the U.S. So it makes just logistical sense. And I think it'll be great for the tourism industry, for the airline industry. And I think it'll be good for all of us, to have that little kernel of normality coming back into our lives, Craig.
Dr. Natalie Azar, Raf Sanchez, a big thanks to both of you on a Monday morning.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.